subscribers, and I just want to say thank you for subscribing. Thank you for subscribing. 3,000 subscribers, and I don't have an ending for this song. Hey, I just wanted to make a video. I just hit 3,000 subscribers, and I really just want to say thank you. Thank you so much, everybody, for subscribing. Really just means a lot to me that you guys are, supporting this channel, supporting all the stuff I do, whether it's my own music, me talking about other people's music, me making fun of people. Try not to do that too often. But it really is fantastic. I mean, I saw that number. It was like 290 something. I was like, oh man, I'm almost to 3,000. I'm almost there. And I was just like, yes, I hit it. So thank you so much, everyone. Really appreciate that. And it's interesting because I think I've had this channel now for, I think like in one form or another, I've had this channel pretty much since the inception of YouTube. And I've put a whole bunch of things, I've had things taken down. I've had other success with other channels that I was involved with, where we had a lot of subscribers and we had some success. But I'm really just happy about this because this is really my own channel with my own stuff that I really, obviously my music that is my passion, and history of rock and roll, the show that I really I've done a couple of interesting, to say the least, shows all throughout the YouTube, the history of YouTube. But History of Rock was the one that I really got into, and I was really happy that a lot of people really enjoy it. And I know a lot of people were just like, hey, when's the 90s coming out? And, with all that was going on with my single Elements and all things that were going on, it was just a lot. I'm rambling. I like rambling, don't I? While I'm at it, I'd like to also thank all of you who joined me on Patreon. That is so awesome, you guys. A lot of you were commenting. We got some good discussions going. And I'm going to try to keep doing some more with Patreon and stuff like that. Hopefully I can, for those of you who don't know, the History of Rock, the 90s video is now up on Patreon. I'm going to get to when it's coming out public in a minute. And I'm going to try to get the blooper reel going pretty soon. So I'm sure a lot of you are wondering, well, what about when's it going to be public on YouTube? Well, that's where we've hit a little bit of a snag, as I thought we would. See, one of the reasons I put it on Patreon is because I just knew I was going to have to deal with YouTube and their copyright shenanigans, which is it's really getting out of hand at this point. I think a lot of content creators are having a hard time. So that's why when you guys join Patreon, I know it's tough. It's, $5. It doesn't seem, believe me, as a guy who has to pay rent and, has to watch my spending and stuff, I do know that, hey, it all adds up. And that's why I really, really appreciate those who've joined me on Patreon. So that's why I wanted it to be available for those who really, really wanted to see it right away. I wanted it to premiere on YouTube. I really did. What happened was I did upload the video privately to YouTube, and I got hit with 14 copyright claims. Yes, I think that's a record. 14. And believe me when I say I went out of my way, to make sure that I was only using a certain amount of material to identify the subjects in question, and to, really use a lot of live footage instead of the records. I really, and make sure that for those of you who saw it on Patreon, you'll know that I credited everybody. And of course, all of this is under fair use. This is technically an educational program. It's got jokes and stuff in it, but it's technically an educational program. There are people who do play it in classrooms, that's an awesome honor to be, used to educate people about the history of rock and roll. So Anyway, what really sucks is that I had to go through every single one of them and dispute it. And excuse me, too much cocaine. No, I'm just kidding. Not on Tuesdays. So I had to go through some of them were, I'm just going to be honest, some of them were pretty ridiculous. Without giving too much away, there's a minute where I talk a little bit about Freddie Mercury, and I think I use a couple seconds of These Are the Days of Our Lives. And it's as long as those were the days of our lives. And what is that, 5 seconds? But they got a copyright claim on it, and it was instant. It wasn't like somebody was actually looking through the video and go, oh, hey, well, wait a minute, like that would make sense. But no, it's all automated. And that's really what I hate about YouTube these days. I shouldn't be one of those guys who constantly shits on YouTube because, it is because of YouTube that I'm able to do these things. But the problem is just that I just think they've really kind of, pardon my French, but I think they've kind of got their head up their ass right now, Google especially. But it's like this whole made for kids thing that really annoys me. I'm just like, I hate it when people try to control people and try to censor people using children as their scapegoat. I really hate that. I mean, look, come on, man. I grew up watching like Terminator. I watched frickin' Jurassic Park when it came out. Even some of the old Disney and, Don Bluth stuff that I used to watch when I was a kid. It's pretty heavy nowadays, and my parents would say, hey, listen, this is a movie. So, you have to understand all those things. So this whole made for kids thing, I really don't like that. And I don't really understand it. So that's my rant for the day. But long story short, so it's going to take about 30 days to find out if my claims are valid or not, which they should be. It's fair use. So I won't be able to put this on YouTube for at least until January. So probably what I'm going to do is in a couple of days, I'm going to make it public on video. Whenever I can. Technically, it is on Vimeo, but it's private to the Patreon page. Like I said, if you guys can join the Patreon page, it would really help me out a lot. You'll get to see the history of rock and roll, the 90s. You get to see it right away. You can watch all the History of Rock videos commercial free, and along with all the outtakes and blooper reels. I think all of them are up there. But, again, if you can't, no worries, completely understood. So I'll try to make it public on Vimeo. And I feel kind of bad because I really wanted to premiere it here on YouTube, but YouTube's making that difficult. So that's, I guess that's kind of really all I have to say about that. That's all I have to say about that. I don't know why I just went into Forrest Gump, but I did. Maybe I should talk about the song. What's this song? This song right here. The name of the song is Janai. I'm having way too much fun on here. That's what's going on with History of Rock, the 90s. I kept thinking, well, I got 3,000 subscribers. What should I do? So I think I'm going to leave it to you guys. I'm probably going to try to do a video. I don't know if I'll be able to get one in ton for the holiday season. But if not, maybe something else. And I just thought I would just ask you guys, what do you want me to talk about? Within reason. Would you like me to talk about something specific? If it is something you want me to go into detail about, like a specific artist or, the history of some band or something, that might take longer because I generally when I did the Rick Ocasek video, even though I knew a lot about the Cars, I took a long time because I really wanted to dive in. I wanted to listen to all their records. I wanted to make sure that I really knew what I was coming from. And even then, I think some people were like, hey, you probably should have listened to this a little more and stuff like that. The Cream one I sped through because I already know everything about Cream. But if there is like a reaction video or something you want me to do, again, within reason, because because YouTube's got sort of a copyright thing going on right now, I got to be careful about what it is that I'm reacting to, or I can just watch it and I can tell you all I watched it or I listened to it and here are my thoughts. And I would say, I'm sure there might be some people commenting in the live chat right now. I'd say comment below, just so that I can gauge, what people like to, and also upvote ideas. Like if somebody says, hey, I want you to talk about the history of Tiny Tim. Why I would do that, I don't. I'm so mean to Tiny Tim. I'm sorry, Tiny. I love you, Tiny Tim. I really do. You've been a wonderful butt of our jokes this whole time. But yeah. That's pretty much. That's all I have to say about that. All right. Anyway, again, before I forget, 3,000 subscribers. Thank you guys. Thank you so much. You guys are great. My fans are awesome. I love how intelligent everybody was. Like, what I always love when I got the Patreon, I was expecting a couple of comments, and they're all really intelligent comments. Like, hey, while this was going on in America, in England, we were doing this and all that kind of stuff. So, and it was great to read them all because you kind of learn different things. And I'm a big sucker for knowledge. I really am a nerd, aren't I? So let's see what we got. A lot of congratulations. Thank you so much, everybody, for the congratulations. Epic sauce, dude. Epic sauce. Okay. Woohoo. Yep, 14 copyright claims. For those of you who don't know what I'm doing, if you're watching this video later, there's a live chat, which you can join. You can join the live chat. You can say, hi, my name is Bobby Bobenheimer, and I want to talk about this, or whatever. So, yes, that sounded like 86753. Oh, yeah. The name of the song is Jenny/8675309. The song they're talking about is Jenny, what can I turn to? Give me something I can hold on to. I know you think I'm like the others before. Saw your name and number on the wall. And of course, 8675309, 8675, and so on and so forth. I really like that song, actually. It's guilty pleasure. I thought you had more than 3K. Nope, that's what I got. Talk about Pink Floyd more. Oh God, I could. Oh man, I could talk about Pink Floyd forever. I mean, Jesus, where do I even start? I'll tell you what, start leaving comments on what you want me to talk about Pink Floyd right now, and I'll start telling you stuff. But let me keep going through here. Maybe talk about your favorite albums. Ooh, that's a good one. I like that. Maybe talk about your favorite albums. Well, I was listening to some of them today. I'm doing, in February, I'm doing a George Harrison show. So me and Neil Candelora, who's also from Let It Be, we were talking about a whole bunch of things like by the way, my wife is walking in if you're wondering about that. Yeah. Hey, just so you know, I'm on a live chat with YouTube right now. My wife just everybody say hi to Hero. Hi. She says hi. Do you want to come on camera? I'm live in front of YouTube, so it's thousands and thousands of people.
Oh, no, thank you.
They can hear you too.
Oh, no. No, thank you.
Sorry about that. Where was I? We were talking about Pink Floyd. Favorite albums. So we were listening to All Things Must Pass. Maybe I'll play something from All Things Must Pass in a minute. Great album. I'll talk more about that later. let me just get through all these comments here. Yep, Pink Floyd. The early days. The early days of punk music, especially the pub rock scene in the UK, early to mid 70s. Yeah, I feel like I'd really need to dive into that a little more. I'm not that knowledgeable about it. I mean, I know, the Sex Pistols and the Clash and, all the stuff that everybody else knows. But, there's a lot more to that punk scene from England than that would be a lot of research. I'd have to do a lot of research. I mean, I did a lot when I did the 70s. And even then, I don't feel like I watched a couple documentaries on it. And even then, I didn't feel like I really was able to do it justice. Maybe review fans' music and give them advice. I'm always kind of, I don't know about that. I love fans' music, and I definitely encourage everybody out there who's making music to. I tell you what you should do. You should review my music. But I don't know. Maybe I'll take a look. I got a couple of friends of mine who have some great music that I should talk about. Got another one for Pink Floyd. You should bring back that vinyl listening show you were going to do. So we had a problem with that. The vinyl listening show, the problem was copyright. Now, that one I will give YouTube credit for. That one makes a little more sense because we were listening to full songs, and it was me and Nick's reaction to it. So I can see why they did a copyright claim on that because, we're listening to full songs. Fine. 5 seconds of songs, that's where I draw the line. But I would like to do another one. If I could find a way to do sort of a live thing, maybe I would. And what else am I going to talk about? Motley Crue, Def Leppard, Poison, and Joan Jett have a tour. They do have a tour. I wanted to go see Joan Jett when she was playing with Heart. I didn't get a chance to go see it. I don't really have any desire to see those other bands. I'm sorry, Motley Crue, definitely. If you watch the history of rock and roll, you know how I feel about hair metal, especially, although I like a little bit of Def Leppard. Some of Motley Crue is okay. Poison, I don't know if I can deal with Poison. Do you like any country music? If so, could you talk about it? I like old school country, like if we're talking about like Hank Williams and like Johnny Cash and all that kind of stuff. Patsy Cline. I love all that stuff. And I like a lot of the country rock stuff of the 70s, the Eagles and some of the stuff Rod Stewart did. Modern country, no. Just no. Animals, Pink Floyd. Animals is not one of my favorite Pink Floyd. Well, it is. If you want me to list my favorite Pink Floyd albums, it would go a little something like this. Dark Side of the Moon is still my top album. Big shock. I'm a conformist. And then I kind of go back and forth after that. Like I love Wish You Were Here. I love metal. I love the Division Bell, like a lot. I don't know if people are gonna get on me for that, but I think it's a great album. Then The Wall somewhere in there after those, maybe. And then Animals probably after The Wall. I don't know. I'd have to think if I was going to list them all. I love Dogs. Dogs is one of my favorite Pink Floyd tunes. The rest of it is kind of, some parts of it are great. I mean, like the ending of Sheep is really cool. I love the concept of it. I love, Pigs, 3 different ones. I love the anger in it and stuff. I just feel like musically it's not quite there. But yeah, maybe do Pink Floyd. A lot of people want me to do Pink Floyd. We have some Pink Floyd fans. Oh, here we go. Syd Barrett or David Gilmour? David Gilmour. Sorry. Syd's great, though. Syd is fantastic. It's just that, Syd had basically 1.5 albums with Pink Floyd. David Gilmour went through decades of refining his craft. I love the rawness of Syd, but Syd to me is just a little too raw. So, yeah. But David Gilmour is one of my favorite guitar players of all time, like bar none. Everybody said hi to my wife. She left just now to go get some food. You scared her away. The Resonance, the Alan Parsons Project, and others. Film behind the scenes stories about bands making albums. I've done those with my albums. I actually have a whole thing for the One Last Stand album. Hank Williams is great. Stray Cats, don't know as much about the Stray Cats. Are there some modern progressive rock metal bands that it might be interesting to sink your teeth into? Like Daydream XI, I think I've heard of them. Hemina, Caligula's Horse, Southern Empire. Also, can I ask you to play Eruption on? I did it already. It doesn't sound good on acoustic. Shining You Crazy Damn It. I really like Syd's music, but find his lyrics a little too childish, like Bike and the Gnome. Well, I mean, that's kind of what, it's all about, He's kind of doing these very, and I don't think I wouldn't say they're childish. I think they've sort of got that irreverent British humor to them. So, I mean, I like Bike a lot. I think Bike's really good. I don't remember the Gnome. I haven't listened to Piper and the Gates of Dawn in a long time. I'd have to listen to it again. You like the band Death? I haven't heard a lot of Death. I think I listened to a little bit of Death. They're fine. I'd have to listen to them some more. Are you a fan of funk? Yes. Huge fan of funk. Like, seriously. Dr. Feelgood and Eddie and the Hot Rods worth checking out for your early punk UK scene. Just saying, LOL. What does LOL mean? No, I'm just kidding. What do you think of PFunk AllStars? Oh, if you're talking about PFunk is great. AllStars. Wait, did we open for that? I remember opening for Aaron McFadden from P-Funk, and it was called some All-Stars thing. This was back in like the mid-2000s with my band Seventh Son. Was that what it was called? Well, it was Aaron McFadden, so not sure. Favorite Beatles song? Maybe that's a list right there. Favorite Beatles song? I'll tell you what. What is your favorite Beatles song? I want to figure this out. And actually, I'll ask another question before I leave. Conehead, yes. Death is amazing. Eddie Hazel is one of the most underappreciated guitarists, in my opinion. Cool. Who would you most like to open for? Probably Eric Clapton. I think this is going to have to be the end of this. Once again, 3,000 subscribers. Thank you all. We got a couple of Beatles in my life. Classic. For No One. Oof, that's a good one. It's For No One. That's a deep cut too. Now you need to talk about Smash Mouth. Well, if you've seen the History of Rock the 90s episode, you'll know that Smash Mouth may or may not be talked about. So anyway, I'll leave y'all with the song, and I was just playing around with this. I don't know if we have any George Harrison fans in the house, because I'm doing a George Harrison show in February for Valentine's Day in New Jersey. and we were going through a bunch of songs, and Neil Kindler and I were working on this one, which I'm gonna just do just for the heck of it, just for you guys, my 3,000 subscribers. And I don't know if you know this one or not. This is off of All Things Must Pass. And while I'm at it, what's your favorite post-Beatles George Harrison song, if you know it? You can leave a comment. Tell me what you think. You don't need no loving. You don't need no bedpan. You don't need a horoscope or a microscope to see the message you're in. If you open up your heart, see what I mean. Never alone so long. There's a way to get clean. By chanting the name of the Lord and you'll be free. The Lord is waiting on you all to wait and see. By chanting the name of the Lord and you'll be free. The Lord is waiting on you all, just wait and see. You don't need a passport. You don't need no visas. You don't need a designation of immigrant before you get to Jesus. If you open up your heart, see about me. It always was and will be. Believe you can. By chanting the name of the Lord and you'll be free. The Lord is waiting on you and waiting to see. By chanting the name of the Lord and you'll be free. The Lord is waiting on you, just waiting to see. You don't need no church house. You don't need no temple. You don't need no rosary beads or books to read to see that you're falling. If you open up your heart, you see what I mean. You're down so long, never been. Here's the really awesome lyrics. And while the Pope owns 51% of General Motors, and the stock exchange is the only thing he's qualified to quote us, the Lord is waiting on y'all to Tennessee. By chanting the names of the Lord and you'll be free. Good song. I was just learning it, so I was just like, screw it, I'm gonna play that just for the hell of it. Yep, we got a lot of My Sweet Lord, of course. That's a couple of you got it right. It's a waiting on you all. George liked his lords. He did like his lords. He liked Krishna and Vishnu and yes, all that good stuff. Favorite John Lennon album is Plastic Ono Band. I was just listening to that the other day. All right, I'm going to have to end this, everyone. Once again, 3,000 subscribers. Thank you. I'm going to go find my wife, make sure she hasn't divorced me. So I will see you all later. Take care.